My 6-year-old daughter went to buy candy and never came back. We searched cities, followed leads, and chased strangers who looked like her. Someone even sent me a voice note saying, "Baba," then disappeared. Years passed with no answers, only guilt and hope fighting inside me. This is how a missing child changed my family forever. Before going to forward in story, please subscribe my channel and like and share this video. 2 years ago, it happened to me. My daughter vanished, and nothing has ever been the same since. Her name was Aisha. She was 6 years old, small for her age, with big, curious eyes, and a habit of asking why about literally everything. She loved drawing, especially cats, even though we never owned one. She said when she grew up, she would be a teacher, so kids won't be scared of school. We lived in a small town where everyone thought everyone knew everyone. It felt safe. Maybe that was the biggest mistake we made, believing safety was guaranteed. It was a Saturday afternoon. My wife was at work. I was home, tired after a long week, scrolling on my phone while Aisha played outside in the front yard with her chalk and a small pink scooter. Our street was quiet. A few kids played nearby. Neighbors walked dogs. Nothing unusual. She asked me if she could ride her scooter to the corner shop with her friend Sana. It was literally a 2-minute walk. I hesitated, but agreed. I told her to stay together, buy the candy, and come straight back. That was the last normal moment of my life. 20 minutes passed, then 30. I looked outside. No Aisha, no scooter. I thought maybe she stopped to talk to someone. I walked toward the shop. Sana was there with her mom, eating ice cream. I asked where Aisha was. Sana looked confused and said she went home already. My heart dropped. I ran home. She wasn't there. I called her name. No answer. I checked the bathroom, bedroom, backyard, everywhere. Nothing. I ran back outside, shouting her name like a madman. Neighbors came out. Someone said they saw a white van parked near the shop. Someone else said they thought they saw her talking to a woman. No one was sure. Everything was blurry. I called the police. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. I kept thinking she would walk in any second, smiling, holding candy. But she didn't. Police came. They asked questions. What was she wearing? What time did she leave? Did she have enemies? Did we have family issues? It felt like they were questioning me, not helping me. My wife rushed home. When she realized Aisha was gone, she screamed in a way I had never heard before, a sound that still haunts my dreams. They searched the area. Dogs, volunteers, drones, everything. Her scooter was found near the shop, lying on the ground. That detail destroyed me. She loved that scooter. She would never leave it. Days passed, then weeks. Her picture was everywhere. Social media, posters, local news. People shared, prayed, commented. Some blamed us. Some accused us. Some said horrible things. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I kept replaying that moment in my head. Why did I let her go? Why didn't I walk with her? Why did I trust that nothing bad would happen? The house felt empty. Her room stayed the same. Her drawings were still on the wall. Her little shoes were still by the door. Every object felt like a knife. The police said they were following leads, but leads kept going nowhere. Rumors spread. Someone said human trafficking. Someone said she ran away. She was 6. Someone said it was someone we knew. I started to suspect everyone. Neighbors, friends, relatives. My brain went crazy, building horror stories from nothing. My wife and I stopped talking normally. We blamed ourselves. Sometimes we blamed each other. Sometimes we just sat in silence, staring at nothing. People eventually stopped asking. Life went on for them. But for us, time stopped on that afternoon. It's been 2 years. She's still missing. No body, no closure, just endless questions. I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do. Maybe someone here went through something similar. Maybe someone has advice on how to live when your child disappears without a trace. I don't want sympathy. I just want my daughter back. The first week after Aisha disappeared was chaos. Everyone acted fast at first. Police cars, reporters, volunteers with flashlights walking through fields, checking drains, abandoned houses, construction sites. For a moment, it felt like the whole world cared. Then, slowly, painfully, things started to slow down. The police took our phones and computers to check for anything suspicious. They asked us the same questions again and again, like they were hoping our answers would change. Did she ever talk to strangers? Did she have any online access? Any family disputes? Anyone who might want to harm you? She was 6. She watched cartoons and drew cats. Our biggest family dispute was whether she could eat candy before dinner. Still, I felt like a criminal. They interviewed neighbors. The shopkeeper said she came in, bought a candy bar, and left with Sana. Sana's mom confirmed that Aisha started walking alone because Sana wanted to stay for ice cream. That detail crushed me. If only Sana had walked with her. If only I had gone instead of letting her go alone. A traffic camera down the street caught something. A white van slowing near the shop around the same time, but the license plate was blurry. The van drove away. That was it. No clear faces, no clear proof, just a blurry vehicle and 1,000 theories. Internet detectives showed up. People online started analyzing everything. Some were kind, others were cruel. One person commented, "Parents probably sold her." Another said, "Dad did it. Always the dad." Reading those comments made me physically sick. I wanted to scream at the world that I would die 1,000 times before letting anything happen to my daughter. The police followed a lead about a woman who was seen talking to Aisha. Turns out it was just a neighbor asking for directions. Dead end. They searched nearby cities, checked hospitals, checked orphanages, nothing. One night, about 2 weeks after she vanished, I got a call from the police. They found a little girl matching Aisha's description in another town. My heart stopped. My wife cried on the phone. We drove like maniacs. It wasn't her. The disappointment was worse than anything. For a moment, I had allowed myself to believe she was alive, scared, waiting for us. Losing that hope again felt like losing her twice. After a month, the case slowed down. Fewer calls, fewer updates. The new detective changed. The new one felt distant, like this was just another file on his desk. I started doing my own investigation. I talked to truck drivers, shop owners, street vendors. I checked CCTV cameras from random houses. Most footage was useless. Either cameras were broken or pointed in the wrong direction. I became obsessed. I barely slept. I walked the same route she took that day again and again, imagining her steps. Did she feel scared? Did she cry? Did she think I would come save her? My wife stopped going outside much. She stayed in Aisha's room, holding her clothes, smelling her pillow. Sometimes she talked to her as if she was still there. Our marriage started breaking in small ways. We argued about stupid things. She blamed me for letting her go alone. I blamed myself so deeply that I couldn't even defend myself. Friends tried to help at first. They brought food, sat with us, talked. After a while, they stopped visiting. They didn't know what to say anymore. And honestly, I didn't know how to talk about anything else. Every phone call scared me. Every unknown number made my heart race. Every knock on the door felt like it could be her. Then, about 3 months after she disappeared, something strange happened. A man contacted me on Facebook. His profile looked new. No pictures, no friends. He said he saw Aisha in a city far away with a couple who looked suspicious. He refused to give details unless I sent money for travel costs. I reported him to the police. They traced the account. Fake. Probably a scammer trying to exploit desperate parents. That's when I realized how dark people can be.
Some see tragedy and think, how can I profit from this? Months passed, birthdays passed, holidays passed. Aisha's 7th birthday came and went. We bought a cake and sang to an empty chair. My wife cried until she couldn't breathe. I just stared at the candles and felt nothing, completely empty. The police told us that cases like this sometimes take years. Sometimes kids are found, sometimes they aren't. That sometimes became my nightmare.
After about 6 months, the world had mostly forgotten Aisha. Our posters faded on walls, social media posts stopped getting shares, news moved on to other tragedies. But for me, every day still felt like the day she disappeared. That's when the rumors started. In small towns, people talk. They whisper in markets, in mosques, in schools. At first I ignored it. Then I started hearing things directly. One neighbor hinted that my wife and I were hiding something. Another said maybe Aisha ran away because of abuse. Someone else suggested she was kidnapped by relatives because of a family dispute. We had no disputes, no enemies, but people like stories more than truth. One day, a police officer casually asked me if I had ever hit my daughter. I stared at him, shocked. I loved that child more than my own life. But suddenly, I realized they were not just looking for her. They were also building a file on us. Then, about 9 months in, something serious happened. A man named Rashid became a person of interest. Rashid was a delivery driver who often parked his van near the shop. Remember the white van? Yeah, that van belonged to him. He had a minor criminal record, petty theft, some suspicious complaints. The police brought him in for questioning. For the first time in months, I felt something like hope. Maybe they found the guy. Maybe there would be answers. They searched his van. Nothing. They searched his house. Nothing. They checked his phone. Nothing that linked him to Aisha. But the town exploded with gossip. People said he trafficked children. Others said he killed them. Some said the police were covering up. I wanted to believe he did it, because if someone did it, there was at least a villain, a story, an explanation. The idea that she vanished into nothing was worse. But after weeks, Rashid was released. Not enough evidence. Another dead end. I started losing my mind. I became paranoid. Every man with a van looked suspicious. Every woman talking to a child made me nervous. I followed strangers in the street. I checked license plates. I memorized faces. My wife noticed I was changing. I barely talked. I barely smiled. I barely slept. Sometimes I dreamed she came back, and I woke up screaming her name. Our house turned into a shrine. Her room was untouched. Her toys were exactly where she left them. Her school bag still had notebooks inside, with unfinished homework. One night, I sat in her room and opened her drawing book. On the last page, she had drawn our family. Me, my wife, her. Above us, she wrote, "I love you, Baba and Mama." I broke down completely. Ugly crying, shaking, screaming into a pillow so the neighbors wouldn't hear. My wife and I started therapy. The therapist said we were in ambiguous loss. No body, no closure, no grief process, just endless waiting. She said some couples don't survive this. Divorce rates are high after missing child cases. We promised each other we wouldn't fall apart, but promises are easy. Living them is hard. Then, about 1 year after Aisha vanished, something terrifying happened. I got a message from an unknown number. It was a picture, a blurry photo of a little girl in a playground, taken from far away. The caption said, "Looks like your daughter?" My hands shook so badly I dropped the phone. I replied immediately, begging for details. No response. I sent the number to the police. They traced it to a burner phone that was already discarded. We never found out who sent it. Was it a cruel prank, a scammer, or someone who actually saw her? That single image haunted me. The girl looked similar, same hair, same build, but the face was unclear. For weeks I stared at that photo.
I imagined flying across the country, checking every playground, every school, every orphanage. But we had no location, no lead, just hope and torture. I realized something dark about hope. It can keep you alive, but it can also destroy you. About 14 months after Aisha disappeared, we got the call that changed everything. It was from a woman named Farah. She said she thought she saw Aisha in another city, almost 300 kilometers away. She had seen the posters online and recognized the face. According to her, the girl was with a couple who seemed nervous and avoided eye contact. At first, I thought it was another false alarm. We had been through so many of those. But Farah sounded genuine. She wasn't asking for money. She gave a detailed description of the girl, including a small birthmark on her left wrist. Aisha had that birthmark. My heart started pounding so hard I thought I might faint. We informed the police. They said they would look into it, but I could hear the lack of urgency in their voice. To them, this was just another tip among hundreds. I couldn't wait. My wife couldn't wait. We packed bags that night and drove to that city ourselves. The drive felt endless. My wife kept staring out the window, whispering Aisha's name like a prayer. I kept imagining opening a door and seeing her there, older, confused, but alive. We met Farah. She showed us the place she saw the girl, a small park near a crowded market. She said she saw them twice, always in the evening. The couple looked poor, maybe migrants. The girl looked quiet, holding the woman's hand. We started coming to that park every evening. For a week, nothing. Then, on the 8th day, I saw her. Or at least, I thought I did. A little girl was playing near the swings. Same hair, same posture, same way of walking with slightly turned-in feet. My heart stopped. I ran towards her. She looked at me with fear in her eyes. She wasn't Aisha. Different eyes, different voice, different smile. Her parents shouted at me, accusing me of a kidnapper. People stared. Someone called security. I tried to explain, but I just looked like a crazy man approaching a child. That moment humiliated me. But more than that, it broke me. Still, we stayed another month in that city. We searched schools, shelters, hospitals, even slums. We talked to street kids. We showed Aisha's picture everywhere. Nothing. Eventually, we had to go home. Our savings were almost gone. I had taken unpaid leave from work. My wife quit her job. On the drive back, my wife asked me something that scared me. What if she doesn't want to come back? I asked what she meant. What if someone took her, and now she thinks they're her parents? What if she forgot us? I didn't have an answer. Back home, things got worse. My wife became obsessed with psychics and spiritual healers. She visited people who claimed they could see Aisha. Some said she was alive, some said she was dead, some said she was far away, some said she was near. Every answer cost money. I hated it, but I couldn't stop her. Hope is addictive, even fake hope. I started drinking, at first just to sleep, then to forget, then because being sober hurt too much. One night, drunk, I went to the shop where Aisha was last seen. I sat on the sidewalk and cried like a child. The shopkeeper tried to comfort me, but his words felt empty. That's when he told me something new. He said that on the day Aisha disappeared, he saw her talking to a woman near the van. He thought the woman was her mother at first, but then he realized he had never seen that woman before. He had told the police earlier, but they dismissed it as unreliable. That detail haunted me. A woman pretending to be a mother. That sounded planned, organized, not random. Human trafficking. The word felt like poison in my brain. I started researching trafficking networks. I joined online groups of parents with missing children. Their stories were horrifying. Some kids were found years later in other countries. Some were never found. I realized how big and dark this world is. Then, one night, I received another message. This time, it wasn't a picture. It was a voice note. A child's voice whispering,
Baba. I replayed it 100 times. It sounded like her, but it was only one word, no other message. The number disappeared. I gave it to the police. They said it could be a prank, AI, or coincidence, but I knew my daughter's voice, or at least I thought I did. That night, I decided something. I couldn't just wait anymore.
After the voice note, I snapped. I couldn't sit at home anymore, waiting for police updates that never came. I felt like everyone had given up on Aisha except me. So I decided to do what I had avoided for a long time. I started digging into people. Not officially, not legally, just a desperate father doing desperate things. I went back to Rashid, the van driver who had been questioned earlier. People in town still whispered about him. Some said he had connections. Some said he was dangerous. I followed him. Yes, I stalked a man. I watched where he parked, who he talked to, where he went after work. I even talked to people in his neighborhood, pretending I was just curious. I found nothing. He was boring, normal, married, kids, struggled with money. No secret basement, no weird behavior, no suspicious trips. I felt stupid and guilty. Then I started looking closer to home. That's the part that still makes me feel sick. I started suspecting people I loved. My brother-in-law, a cousin, a neighbor who often gave Aisha sweets. I checked their social media, their messages, their schedules. I imagined horrible things about people who had done nothing wrong. Grief makes you paranoid. It turns your brain into a horror movie director. My wife noticed I was acting strange. She asked if I believed someone we knew took Aisha. I didn't answer. That silence hurt her more than any accusation. Our marriage was falling apart. We slept in separate rooms. We barely talked. When we did, it was about Aisha, police, rumors, or money. One night, during a huge argument, she shouted something that changed me. "This is all your fault. You let her go alone. You killed her." She didn't mean it literally. She was broken, but those words cut deeper than anything. I left the house and drove for hours. I thought about ending everything. I thought about how peaceful it would be to stop feeling this pain. But then I thought of Aisha. If she was alive somewhere, she would want her father to keep looking. If she was gone, she would want me to live. I came back home, but something in me was different. A few weeks later, I got another lead. A private investigator contacted me. He said he had worked on missing person cases before and believed he could help. He wasn't cheap, but I didn't care anymore. He started digging into CCTV footage from nearby highways, border routes, and bus stations around the time Aisha disappeared. He found something interesting. A little girl matching her description was seen boarding a bus with a woman 2 hours after she vanished. The footage was grainy, but the timeline matched. The route led toward a big city known for trafficking routes. The police said it wasn't enough to confirm identity, but the PI believed it was her. For the first time, we had a possible trail. I felt hope again, but hope is dangerous. We followed that trail for months. Shelters, NGOs, orphanages, street outreach programs. Many kids looked similar. None were her. Then the PI gave me a reality check. He said, even if she was trafficked, chances of finding her after this long are very low. Networks move kids fast. Identities change. That sentence destroyed me. It felt like someone was slowly closing a door that I had been desperately trying to keep open. Then something even worse happened. My wife got pregnant. It should have been happy news, but it felt wrong. She cried instead of smiling. She said, "It feels like replacing her." I didn't see it that way, but I understood her pain. She miscarried 3 months later. That broke her completely. She said the universe didn't want us to have children anymore. She started talking about fate, punishment, destiny. She believed Aisha's disappearance was karma for something we did. I started therapy again, but this time seriously. The therapist told me something that shocked me. She said sometimes people never get answers, and part of healing is accepting not knowing. I didn't want to accept that. Acceptance felt like betrayal.
Then, on the second anniversary of Aisha's disappearance, something unexpected happened. A girl walked into our street. She looked around, confused. She was about 8 years old. For a second, my heart stopped. She wasn't Aisha, but she asked for directions to the shop. Her voice, her height, her hair, everything triggered me. After she left, I sat down and realized something terrifying. I was starting to see Aisha in every child. My brain was rewriting reality. I was losing myself. 3 years after Aisha disappeared, the police officially labeled her case as cold. They didn't say it to our faces like that. They used softer words. Active investigation paused. No new leads. We will reopen if new evidence appears. But I knew what it meant. They had moved on. The world had moved on. Only we were still stuck in that Saturday afternoon. For a long time, I refused to accept it. I kept checking my phone every morning like someone might message, "We found her." I kept imagining her walking through the door, older, taller, confused but alive. But reality is cruelly quiet. No miracle happened. No dramatic reunion. No shocking confession from a criminal. Just silence. My wife and I almost divorced. We talked to lawyers. We discussed who would keep the house. But one night, we sat in Aisha's room together for the first time in months. We looked at her drawings, her toys, her tiny clothes. My wife said, "If we separate, we'll lose her twice." That sentence changed everything. We decided to stay, not because everything was okay, but because losing each other felt like losing the last piece of her. We started volunteering with a missing children organization. We helped put up posters for other kids. We talked to parents who were going through what we went through. It was painful, but it was also healing. I realized something important. Every missing child case is a family that stops living normally. Some parents go insane. Some destroy their marriages. Some turn to religion. Some turn to addiction. Some become activists. We chose to survive. One day, about 4 years after Aisha disappeared, we got a call from the police. They found remains in a rural area. They needed DNA testing. My hands shook as I gave the sample. My wife cried for days waiting for the results. 2 weeks later, they told us it wasn't her. I felt relief and disappointment at the same time. Relief that she might still be alive. Disappointment because uncertainty continued. At some point, I realized something strange. I was more afraid of closure than uncertainty. If they found her body, hope would die forever. Hope hurts, but it also keeps you breathing. Years passed. We had another child, a boy. We named him Ali. My wife cried when she held him for the first time. She said she felt guilty for loving him. I told her love is not limited. Loving him doesn't erase Aisha. Ali grew up hearing about his big sister. He asked where she was. We told him she was lost, and we still loved her. On Aisha's 10th birthday, we released balloons with her name written on them. We wrote letters and tied them to the strings. Maybe it's childish, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's denial, but it felt right. I still imagine her. I imagine her in school, making friends, drawing cats, becoming a teacher. I imagine her asking me why again. Sometimes I see girls her age and wonder if one of them is her. But I don't chase every child anymore. I don't stalk vans. I don't accuse neighbors. I don't drown in alcohol. I learned that grief never fully goes away. It just changes shape. You learn to carry it. You learn to laugh again, even with a hole in your heart. You learn to live with unanswered questions. If Aisha is alive somewhere, I hope she is safe. I hope someone loves her. I hope she is happy. If she is gone, I hope she knew how much we loved her. I used to think my life ended the day she disappeared, but I was wrong. My old life ended. A different life began. A broken, scarred, but still living life. If you're reading this and your child is missing, I won't tell you it gets better. It gets different, and sometimes different is enough to keep going.